Good afternoon, vinyl community. It's David Michael. How you doing? I'm filming a video today showing, this will be part one of what I consider to be some of my best thrift store finds ever. The reason why I decided to do this video is because I have not been able to go vinyl shopping this week as I continue to be ill, hence the water. So this is probably the first week in recent memory that I haven't been able to go thrift store shopping. So I thought, since I got time on my hands, I'm home, kids are at school, and I'm not working because I'm still ill. I'm sure they don't want me at work making everyone else sick. That I would film a video anyways. And so I did a quick dig through my records. They're all over the place, and I thought I'd showcase some. Some of these are, I would say they're. I mean, I guess the greatest finds ever is kind of relative, because I've found records from the '80s that personally mean more to me than some things I might show you here. So, but I guess these might be considered a combination of personal finds, or things that have made me personally happy, or they have a certain kind of wow factor to them, I guess. But like I said, it's all relative. But so I'm going to start off really quickly. These are all, most of these were over the past 2 years, I'd say, from thrift stores, Goodwills, Value Village stores, Salvation Armies, different little tiny thrift stores around town here. So this one I do remember finding last year. It was the Metallica, the Good, the Bad, and the Live box set. And if you're on the YouTube vinyl community, you might remember me posting this. When I found it there, I took a photo for posterity because I couldn't believe I found it at a thrift store. It's a 6-album box set. The posters here. That's what's in it if you're not familiar with it. It's singles. There's the Garage Days Revisited album. There's a picture disc inside. It's one of those things I've always wanted and I didn't get at the time of release. And then, lo and behold, one day after work I go to the thrift store. There it was. This wasn't $1, by the way. I think they had the foresight to ask for a couple more dollars than that, but it was less than $10 anyways. So that was a happy day, I'd say. I'm a big Metallica fan. Next one I want to show you, and you'll see I have some of these. You'll see notes here. I make myself notes, so if I have duplicates, it's kind of a reminder to myself of the origin of these albums. But this is a first pressing of Frank Zappa's Lumpy Gravy. There's some light marks on it, but generally speaking it's in, I'd say, VG plus condition. I do remember finding that at a Goodwill last year. Frank Zappa for me. I understand the importance of him to a lot of people. Frank Zappa to me, I will say I like some of his stuff. I'm not an ardent fan where I'm madly collecting his stuff, but I'm not so stupid as to see this and pass it up. So, next one. Obviously, some of these first pressings I'm going to show you, they're Canadian because I am in Canada. So this is a Canadian first pressing of Sgt Peppers. It has the spelling mistake, or with a little help from my friends, is just called A Little Help from My Friends on the back. And it's the capital rainbow label. I do find quite a few Beatles albums while going to thrift stores, and like I've said in previous videos, the challenge in itself is to find good condition Beatles albums. This one is in very, very nice condition. I was just playing this one. I am a big Beatles fan, so I would consider that to be a pretty cool find for myself. The next two are original mono Canadian pressings. Revolver, with the T2576, I believe. Yes. So that's an original mono pressing from Canada. And the next is an original mono pressing of Rubber Soul. Now, I approach talking about first pressing Beatles albums cautiously because they sold so many albums that, you know, kind of maybe bragging about finding first pressing Beatles albums, Canadian pressings, US pressings, you know, it's kind of like Elvis. There's so many out there that, you know, you have to be a fan for that to mean anything to me personally, to find a first pressing. Beatles is one of those bands that it kind of excites me to find a first pressing. So those were 3 first pressings I did find at Goodwill stores in my city. This one is, I think I found a year ago or so. This is the Pink Floyd. It's a Canadian Capitol Swirl of See 'Em While You Play. Let me get the glare off of that. It's backed with Scarecrow. I do know in this condition it's, well, I'm guessing it's well worth about 200, possibly. In this condition, maybe a few bucks more, but that was a thrift store find, and I believe that was about 99 cents. So that was kind of a neat find that day. And as was this. This is a first pressing Pink Floyd, The Piper of the Gates of Dawn, the Capitol 6000 series from Canada. The cover's a bit faded. It's not worn by any means. I do remember distinctly finding this at a thrift store in the morning before work. When I used to work day shift, I stopped there before I went to work that morning, and they were hauling out a couple pallets of records to the front area of the thrift store because there was too many to file in the back. And it was me and another gentleman who just happened to be in the store, and we saw this and our eyes lit up. We saw the pallets and we were freaking out, like, and this was in there. And so that, personally speaking, that's one of my favorite finds I've ever had at a thrift store. Some of you might be aware of this album, the Count 5 Psychotic Reaction. Someone wrote their name on it, like a lot of those albums you do find, but it seems to be a promo stamp or punch copy there. Count 5 Psychotic Reaction. It's actually a decent, yeah, a lot of people know the single, but the whole album itself is pretty damn good. That was a pretty cool find. This was maybe the biggest coincidence I've ever had of going to thrift stores. Is I found an original copy of the Who Sings My Generation. This is the stereo copy. This is a U.S. pressing. I'm a big Who fan as well. And then maybe a week later, at a different thrift store, I found a mono pressing, a U.S. mono pressing. So within about a week, I found an original copy of a stereo and a mono pressing of the Who Sings My Generation. That was probably the biggest weird incident I've ever had happen to me at a thrift store. This is an original pressing of Nirvana's Nevermind. This wasn't, I should qualify that by saying that this wasn't a thrift store per se. I just threw this in because I was listening to this morning, but it kind of fits the criteria, because the price I paid was certainly a thrift store price. there was an ex-DJ selling his vinyl collection on an online classified site here. And it was one of those ads, ex-DJ selling thousands of singles, records, come over and have a look. And he just lived about 5 minutes from my house, and I went over there, and he had this and an original pressing of Metallica's Black Album, which I gifted to a friend of mine. But this was, I think, $2. So that's a very exciting find. That was a very exciting find for me personally. I'm going to try to keep this short today. Like I said, this will be part one. If enough people like it, maybe I'll make a part two. Colosseum, a Valentine Suite. This is a German Vertigo pressing. This was one of those albums I never in a million years thought I would own. And I'm guessing 4 or 5 months ago, there it was at a thrift store. And it's in really, really nice condition. Well, that's not really showing you the whole album, but you can take my word for it. That has to be in my top 5 favorite finds of all time. Kiss, the first album. This is the first pressing without kissing time. Since then, you know, this one it plays nice, but I wouldn't say it's the most stellar copy ever. This is a Canadian pressing. And then for Christmas, about 2 years ago, my wife got me, I would say an excellent condition US first pressing of this without kissing time. So I have a Canadian and a US one. This one I play. The US one I kind of leave on the shelf and look at lovingly. That was one of the nicer gifts from my wife ever, being a huge Kiss fan, to find me an excellent condition. It's still in the shrink actually. Copy of Kiss first Kiss album without kissing time. So that's the Canadian one, and I did find that at a thrift store. And lastly, I didn't necessarily save the best for last, but this is like I said, I have a lot of Black Sabbath albums, so I had to make myself a little note what this one is. But this is an original pressing of Black Sabbath's first album. So I have a few copies of at thrift stores. I've found a few first pressing Sabbath albums. This would probably be in the nicest condition. I have a Paranoid and a Master of Reality and a couple others, but the first one for me, finding a first pressing of the first one, that was very exciting for me. So if you're watching this video, thank you. Excuse me, I probably don't sound very good. Like I said, I've been sick for quite a while, haven't I? So like I said, I shall not be thrift store shopping this week, so if you see this video, I hope you enjoy it. This is David Michael, and thank you for watching.